Bickie has been having an exciting many months. Way back in March, their house had burned down. They had been saved. They're living in the granary. Hank Collins was trying to collect $300 mortgage, or he was going to kick them off the farm and they'd have to go live who knows where. They'd had some help harvesting the corn from their neighbor, Red Hog Smith. And then this mysterious man, Soldier Rudolph, had shown up, and he was asking questions about a certain house in the neighborhood. Tommy and Bickie were trying to think if they could help him, and they hadn't made the connection yet between that question. Well, the next day at school, Bickie was called up to the teacher immediately, and Miss Kitty said, "Bickie, I'd like for you to have the main recitation at our Thanksgiving program coming up in just a few weeks." Bickie immediately fell in love with Miss Kitty, even though they'd had their disagreements and some harsh times just a day or two before. Now he was happy because the recitation was the key piece in the program at Ferguson School. He immediately went back to his desk and began to read through and learn all of the lines so that he could have it ready when the program came. That evening, Soldier Rudolph stopped by the house to talk to Mother, and he began to ask her questions. He said, "I'm looking for a certain house, and maybe it was yours. The man that I was with at his dying days there during the war was Dirk Himes." And Mother said, "Oh, Dirk Himes, that was my brother. He had been a 49er to California, and he came back, and he used to love to collect stones. In fact, my brother Dirk was a great jokester, and he had all kinds of pranks going on all the time, and he collected stones and rocks, all kinds of things. He lived with us all of the time, helped us build the house that burned down." "Did your brother ever say anything about money?" Soldier Rudolph asked. And Mother said, "Yes, he used to say, 'Don't worry, sister. There's enough money here to see you through the war if we don't get back in time.'" And he always kind of pointed down. And we wondered if he was pointing to the house or if there was something else. Well, Soldier Rudolph said, "He was on his deathbed when I was called in because I was an Army chaplain. And as I was standing there with him and talking to him, reading him some scripture, he came clear in his thinking, and he said, 'Tell my sister to look for the stone.'" I wonder what kind of stone he meant. Could it have been stone walls in the cellar? He said, "No, look for the stone." Bickie immediately began to think, what could he have meant? Oh, it was the thunder egg. Just as he was thinking of it, Soldier Rudolph said, "Well, maybe that's a possibility. Could I see that thunder egg?" And Bickie said, "Oh, Hank Collins has taken it. What are we going to do? We need to get that back. It could be valuable. How will they ever get it back?" The next morning, when Bickie got up to go to school, his mother told him, "Now, Bickie, you and Tommy don't say anything at school about what Soldier Rudolph said and about the stones, especially that special stone. Don't talk about that at school." So they get to school, and Miss Kitty's getting the costumes ready, and they're talking about the play, and they said, "We need a thing for Plymouth Rock. Let's build something that will look like Plymouth Rock," one of the kids said. So they got some cardboard and a couple of pieces of wood, and they began to think in their minds and shape what could be Plymouth Rock, and it needed to be pretty big. Bickie got an idea. He said, Miss Kitty, Hank Collins has a lot of stones sitting around his porch, and he has some special ones sitting up near his house. Maybe he would bring some over, and maybe some of those could look like the seashore, and maybe one or two could be used to reenact Plymouth Rock." Well, he thought about that, and he thought about it all the way home. Would Hank Collins bring over some of his stones? Would he bring over the thunder egg? That was what Bickie was really hoping he would do. As Bickie and Tommy made their way home from school, they got there, and John met them. Their brother John met them at the gate, and he said, "Come with me. Show me exactly where you found the stone over in the house." When the house had burned down, they cleared out all the boards and all the trash, and they had gone and cleared out the place where the cellar had been, or where the cellar was, and where other trash and things had been, and they got that all cleaned out. And Bickie and Tommy went over and said, yeah, it was right over here in the very middle, in the middle of the cellar. John, Tommy, and Bickie looked around and said, I don't see anything here unusual. What could Uncle Dirk have meant? We really need to get that thunder egg back so that we can find out if it has any value. And Bickie began to wonder, will we be able to get it back? I wonder if Hank Collins will bring those stones over for the Thanksgiving program. Well, finally, the night came for the Thanksgiving program, and everybody had gathered at Ferguson School. There were buckboards and horses and wagons, and people had gathered, and the school was really full as anybody had ever seen it. Bickie was first on the program. He got up and walked out through the curtain and stood there in front of the school, and everyone was looking. Bickie said his part perfectly. He spoke loud and clearly, and everyone understood exactly what he said. And when he was finished, everyone began to clap and say, what a good job. Well, Bickie's face turned a little red, and he got a little uncomfortable, and he moved back through the curtain, and he kind of stumbled over, and there was a door right behind Miss Kitty's desk that led to the storeroom, and he thought, I'll just go in there for a minute. So he went in, closed the door, and kind of resting a little bit, recovering from all that applause. It was a little dark in there, and he looked around, he saw some things, and he reached up to adjust the lantern. And just as he was adjusting the lantern, his foot touched something, and he looked down. What was it? Could it be? It was a big white stone. Surely this is our thunder egg. Hank Collins brought it, but they didn't use it for the program. What can I do? What can I do? Come back for the next and exciting end of our story of Bickie's thunder egg.